poof, I believe is the word.
Yes, yes, yes. Poof for 18 of his rack of POOFTEE. Opening rack for Lukeman is FWOTIDE. Wonderful. All right, looks like Lukman can score 35 points, playing Dawi right underneath Poof, leaving FT. And it looks like Mumin has the first blank of the game on his rack. Wonderful. We should be seeing a bingo come down on Mumin's turn, as this set of he has TENDIE alongside that, and that's they are very synergic tiles that go well together.
Yeah, definitely. I could say that. I mean, I should also note that it's been since my last coverage. I think that was day one. The leaderboard has changed a lot, and we had the likes of Malik and Fred on top. But right now we have Mumin with about 20 wins, according to like the 22 round, the 22nd round, and it's really looking like the the players are setting a new tone. They've been new players that I've seen on the leaderboard so far.
Yes, yes, yes. You can say that again. We've seen amazing players come, on stream. We've seen wonderful wordplay. So yes, it has been such an amazing run so far. Owolabi Lukman went for Dauf for 33, leaving TIE.
Okay, what is Momin's option here? Do you see any bingo he could play?
Right underneath Dauf, playing PODOWFT, Ditinu for 85. I think that's the highest they can score right now on this board. Ditinu for 85, or Fainted, FEINTED. It would be underlapping four, tiles, DEPOI, and OFT. So that also scores 85. So yes, he has quite a lot of options.
Okay, it seems we are saying him go for something else. I want to see what the designated blank would be. Could be
Yes,
fainted.
I think it's going to be F. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's officially the first bingo of this round.
Yes, yes, yes. And looking over to Lukman's side, your opponents just played a bingo of 85 points, and you have six vowels on your rack and one consonant, all 1 point styles. Well, that must be, that can be very devastating, especially this early, point in the game. You want to be scoring as high as you can, to get a very solid lead. So, do you think he will be looking to change on this turn?
I know I'm not really sure what he might want to do because I see him set aside ATE or EUU high. I think he might want to exchange the EIUU combo and probably just leave ATE. That could be an option of ease, but let's see what he decides to go for. And I think he did change EUUI indeed. So, yeah. So now it's back to
Yeah, I think
Momin.
that's the best option.
Yeah.
All right, Mumin has
Momin has
AEGHLOR.
okay. Looking at his rack, I believe he could play maybe HOG right underneath fainted for 22 points, leaving AELR. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think that's fair. And, if he wants to do something different, maybe HAG. The only downside of playing HAG underneath, fainted, that's FADEG, would be the opening of that double word score. If your opponent maybe has the X playing from the double word down there, or maybe the Z or the Q, it would be a whole lot of points. So he might not want to go there. So I think he might want to opt for the safer option of HOG, like you pointed out.
Yeah, but I think he's going for HAG instead. He did arrange HOG at some point, but it seems he's going for HOG. Probably, maybe, I think HAG do take hooks. Maybe he's planning for that setup later on. Who knows? I think HAG has is yet to be committed by
Yes,
him,
yes.
though.
Yes, looks like he has decided to be very aggressive, and he has taken his chances. Great man, Lukman has GRATERS. He changed the last turn, and it looks like things have worked out for him. We should be seeing a bingo come down thanks to the newly opened sports hag. He could hook his
Definitely.
S behind it, to play in front of it rather, to play shag as a front hook. Yes.
Yeah, Graters, Garrett, we could see any of that coming
And it
down for
looks like
7.
we would be having a third commentator. Yes, yes, we should. 70 points. Looks like we'll be having a third commentator join us. Excel Muiwa, who has been on stream earlier today, would be joining us. And yes, really wonderful to have him here. Good afternoon, Excel.
Hey, hello, Koinsola and Opolua. Great job to you guys and well done.
Hi, Excel. Good to have you here.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, I believe he played his Graters somewhere else, and we are getting a challenge. Oh, wow.
Yes, poofs is very much invalid, and so that has been challenged off the board. You expect a player of Mumin's caliber to obviously know the fours, threes, maybe fives that do take S and do not take S. As soon as he played Graters and Poofs, he just went in to challenge immediately.
I think it's also interesting to know that Poof doesn't take any front hook, but it does take an S hook in the back. Spoof is actually correct, but Poof doesn't take any other hook in the front. So wow, that has been challenged off the
Interesting,
board.
interesting.
Yeah. So I think
And
with
we see, as soon as that was challenged.
year
Yes,
old,
and as soon as that was challenged, Air O came down. Yes.
that is very interesting. Year old for 75 points. Wow, by Momin. Do you think um do you think Lukman didn't see the S hook for Ag, probably to play his shag there?
It's possible that it, did not occur to him, although all hope is not lost. Looks like he's going for his 80 points of regrets. Playing through the E that, Mumin just played through. Although that would get him a little bit closer to Mumin, but Mumin will still very much be in the lead with about 90 points.
And interestingly, I think Momin has picked the second blank of the game. Wow, what a pick.
Very funny, Opeoluwa. Quite a number of games where Mumin has been on stream. It's either he has the blank on his first, draw, or he has two blanks. There were two games where he had two blanks, and I think that was on his first or second draw. I think he has something. He has a tendency for drawing
To
blanks.
pick.
Yes.
Wow, that is a very interesting skill, if you'd ask me, and I would always wish to have that picking skill.
Yes, indeed. I mean, who doesn't want, blanks?
Yeah, now it's back to Mumin with RITLK, blank, and I. What are his options here, Coin?
I mean, sadly, one would think because he has the black, a bingo should come down. But on this board right now, there are no possible bingos for him. But he could score a couple of points. He could score 23 if he decides to do KIR or KIT right underneath AG, leaving ILT blank, hoping to pick, more synergic tiles. He could also do THILK through the H of hero for 24. So yes,
Okay, he might be going for KIR because I see he did set that aside. Okay, and he's going in for that. KIR it is for 23 points, leaving ILT blank.
I mean, if he's able to, go into the back to pick a wonderful task, then we might just see a bingo come down on his turn.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see what he comes up with. Now it's back to Lukman with Wismise. Okay, I think I see Wise off this rack. He could play Wise underneath K high R for 35 points, leaving high MS. Another
Yes,
option
he
might be
has
to,
two S's.
yeah,
He has two
yeah,
And
S's,
you know
and I think
something
scoring
that
about. Yes, Excel.
Oh, sorry to butt in there. I just wanted to note that this is actually a must win for Lukman because if you take a look at the standings, Abdulmumin has about a three wins ahead of Lukman, and if he were to win this game, then that would extend to a four-win difference. And with only four games left to go, then that means Lukman has to win the last four, and we are at the king of the hill. So it's interesting to see how Mumin is already inching closer to winning this tournament.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Excel. And Mumin has had such an interesting run. Playing optimally right from the start of the tournament. So yes, if it does win this game, then we might just say, might just be safe to say that it would be winning this tournament.
yeah. I think you're absolutely correct, Excel and Coin, because this round is very critical for Lukman, as you pointed out, and with the wins ahead of Lukman from Umain, he would be very eager to win this one, so he could at least inch closer to in the leaderboard. So I believe he went for WIS instead. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess is trying to retain his E to have a more bingo friendly rack.
And Mumin has VOMLIT blank.
I think it's interesting that even though it looks very synergic, he still doesn't have any playable bingo. So he's opting for VOM instead, and that has been committed for 26 points.
And the best thing about that move is it's gradually conditioning the board. You can see that obstructs the floating R and the E. And with the V there, we know there can't be any overlaps to the side of so that's really defensive play there.
Very defensive indeed. He wants to condition the board as he has taken the lead. I think after this last play, he should be on, I think, 252, and this is 143 for Lukman. So he's trying to condition the board as early as he can. Now we see Lukman going for EMU. He has two U's on his rack, and he would most likely want to dispose at least one of the two U's.
Yeah, definitely. Playing EMU at that point is a top choice, to be honest. But interestingly, with what I see on Mumin's rack, we should or we might be getting another bingo come through from Mumin. Wow.
Yeah, niblets would hook HISN down the board and score over 60 points. So things are looking really good for Mumin here.
I mean, as soon as the bingo comes down, if we eventually see it, of course, whether it's niblets or blinks or belting, whatever it is, as soon as the bingo comes down, it might just be safe to say that Mumin would be winning this game as well.
Definitely, I mean, with the current score 252 for Momain to Lukman's 171, a bingo of about 67 right now would further increase his lead and might ultimately just seal his win. So we should be seeing a bingo come down. It could be niblets, it could be blinks, and it could even be belting. So let's see what he decides to come up with.
And gosh, I wonder how Lukman feels. He played EMU last turn and now he has three U's on his rack. Oh my god.
I mean, in how many games do you pick all the U's in different tones? I mean, four U's and then you pick all of them, not at intervals, but consecutively. You have two U's at first, play out one, and then you go into the back to get two more U's. Wow.
I think the annoying thing about picking news in general is when you don't even pick it with the Q combo. Now he picked all the U's in this game and is the Q is even nowhere to be found, which could maybe even help in this round. But unfortunately, this is going to be a very tough one for Lukman.
Yeah, and the worst part is his opponent played a bingo just when he was hoping to maybe swap out those U's. Must be really tough for Lukman right now.
Definitely.
Indeed, it must. I mean, if the queue later comes in the game, I think Lukman, yes, would be looking to exchange just like he just did because the queue is still in the bag. I mean, if it doesn't exchange, then we would have issues, playing out the queue later on.
Yeah, definitely. So changing was indeed the best option right now. And interestingly, he did pick the U. Now it looked like it's raining wow in on Jimon's rack. I see Oeloiea.
I could have sworn that I was about to predict it would pick the Q after exchanging the U's. Scrabble can be so funny at times.
Interesting. Okay, looks like he went for
So
Wu.
funny indeed. And I think yes, woo for 18. I think I found myself in situations like that where as soon as I exchange the U, I go into the bag and pick the Q, and then I'll be regretting. Oh, why didn't I keep it? Oh, why didn't I? Maybe just keep one of the U's. But Scrabble happens just like Excel said.
Definitely, it does happen, and it must feel some type of way about that. And now it's back to Momain. I see he has picked the Biggie Z. So he had Telziea.
Yeah, things are looking really well for Mumin in this game, and with the way the board is shaped, it doesn't even have to worry about blocking off any spots. Just simply playing his Z right where he's about to play that seems pretty standard.
I mean, from the play of Poof, which is a blocker, the V, he also played the V over there to condition that spot. And so for a bingo to come down on this board, it's going to be very, very, very hard. I can only imagine how Lukman must be feeling right now.
Very hard indeed, I must say. But I think he's trying to. Okay, he's playing in between that obscure spot. He's going for Kine, I believe, instead, leaving Neux. Hmm. Okay.
And from what Mumin has, we can see very synergistic tiles there. Obviously, no bingo right now, but he could simply, just play inside the board. And the moment Lookman tries to open up something, then there's a very high likelihood it would bingo first before Lookman does.
Yes, and that's something I find very funny in the game of Scrabble. You are down, you are trying to open the board, and then as soon as you do that, you see your opponent has been waiting for you to open the board, and boom, they attack you with a bingo. And eventually, sometimes I don't even get the opportunity to play a bingo of my own to the end of the game. I know Scrabble can
Yeah,
be quite funny at times.
yeah, you're absolutely correct. It really does have no manual. You just have to like go with your intuition. But I see right now that Mumin decides to play steal instead. Okay, he might be stealing the win for this one. Still goes for 31 points.
Well said there, but the drawback is this gives back words like sex now that would score over 50 points. So Lukman must feel a bit relieved that he can score over 50 on this turn.
I mean, even with SEX, it doesn't do a lot. I mean, Mumin is here, 393, close to 400. Lukman, oh, looks like it's going for Poofy instead.
Oh my god.
That's
Just like I
quite
said
interesting if you
earlier,
ask me.
takes no hook in the front. Like it's a blocker, and immediately we're getting a challenge. Ah, shit.
Nothing seems to be working well for Lookman in this game. We saw three U's in one rack, and we phoned Poofy earlier on, and now phoning Poofy. Oof, must be really tough for him.
Tough indeed. I mean, just like Okpe pointed out, Poof is a blocker, and taking SEX right under steal would be about 54 points. But now, Mumin would obviously go there to block it, especially when he has exposed, his styles, and he does have SEX, which would fit underneath there, and we see him do ID. Wow, tough, tough, tough.
Yeah, definitely. For a moment, I thought we were going to see XES come down, and I think he must have mistaken maybe Poofy for Puffy, and he probably just thought it is right, so he went for one sexy, hooking his white to the poof, and immediately Mumin challenge and he played ID blocking that spot.
Yeah, I think it's an understandable confusion. There was a time pool fee was valid, and I think it was only recently removed. And so I think that's just what's confusing Lookman here. And it's back with the same rack. And I think he doesn't have a lot of options, maybe just sexy here, at top, poof. It seems all his moves have to do with playing out that X here.
Yeah, it's possible that he's not aware that Poofy has been removed. I mean, yesterday we saw a play of Bint. Bint is one of those four-letter words that were valid in the past, but then later became expurgated. So it's possible that he made that mistake. But it's quite sad to have seen that, especially when he had 54 points for grabs and he just missed it.
Yeah, definitely. He must be feeling pretty devastated right now, given the look on his face and a couple of misses that he's had in this game. And then Sex was looking right at him, and he could have taken that, but unfortunately, he didn't play that. Now, most of his options are below 30 points, even with the use of his X. So this might just be it for him.
Yeah, and I can't stress it enough how important it is that he stops Mumin if Lukman wants to win this tournament. After this game, they would once again be meeting in the next round since this is the king of the hill. So he would have a chance, maybe four more chances to stop Mumin, but let's see how things pan out.
I mean, for this game, I think it's almost impossible for Lukman to, make a comeback. Almost impossible. Your opponent plays fainted. You had the opportunity to, play bingo of your own, but he played poofs, and then ERO came down. Then he played regret. While struggling with three U's, your opponent comes with a bingo of 63 points, and then just when you had the chance to, play 54 and maybe inch, just a little bit closer to your opponent, he misses that and plays a phony. So yes, the chances of him coming back in this game are not that high.
Personally, I would say the chances are like close to zero. Looking at the scores, and it's almost like a 200 lead, and um, fewer tiles left in the bag. I really do not know the miracle that wants to happen here for Owolabi, but I think it's going for EX instead.
Yeah, EX is pretty understandable. I can't recall all the hooks to EME, but I'm sure there are a few front hooks there. So at least that gives this lane available for a bingo if any can come down. But as we know, Momin would not leave that option open.
Of course, it would be a case of wherever you go, I follow. As soon as you open, I try to condition and block. Just doing that back and forth till the game comes to an end.
Yeah, definitely. And just like I said earlier, I don't see any chances. And already I see him going for BAYT instead, ultimately blocking a possible seven towards that lane.
Yes, and right now, except Lukeman has a four-timer that plays through this Y, there really isn't any hope of coming back into this game with the score difference. But we see Lukeman going with maybe Juicy.
I think
Okay,
Juicy
Juicy
scores
seems
fine.
to
Juicy
be.
scores 34. I'm leaving it with SM.
Yeah, playing Juicy for 34 points isn't such a bad move. Back to Momin with ACRIDIN. I think he could play CID just right above Poof for 22, leaving AINR. And I think with that move of Juicy, there's really nowhere to play a bingo for Lukman anymore.
And the
Or
thing
maybe
is,
just
Akridin
J.
is valid, but luckily for Lukman, he didn't make a play that opens up the board for Momin to play that bingo. So, as you've rightfully pointed, his options are things like CID, hooking, cuffed, which look pretty standard, given the fact that a move here would obstruct the bingo from coming beneath Juicy. So, that would be a very cagey move.
As soon as it does CID, only possible option of a bingo coming would be maybe playing through the B, which doesn't happen a lot. But other than that, yes, this board is very, very conditioned.
Interestingly, he went for card instead. Okay, card is still very much conditioning the board. Card for 29 points.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there are any six-letter words ending with JA that could be played there. I'm seeing things like Kotija, maybe it's possible, or there are no more eyes left to be played. But anyways, I'm just curious to see if maybe that JA can be extended later on in the game.
Mm,
It's back to Lukman now with Sunlgay, and uh, what options are you seeing for him here?
I mean, if he decides to do guy, playing BY, the downside of that is ing, opening ing. I mean, he has an N, he doesn't have an I. And from his POV, two eyes are out, and you can see the two eyes on Mominja. So playing an ing bingo would not be possible. Only other option would be maybe to play a bingo with AGE rather, which the E is also with Mumin. So he might be looking to play Sugan instead. I saw him arrange that for a second there, but maybe he's rethinking his options. But uh, yeah, there's really not much he can do at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Sugan is a move we could consider as well for about 26 point living LY. He might not be comfortable with that. Playing guy does open the triple lane, which I believe Mumin could pounce on as soon as he plays. So he might be very watchful against playing that.
Yeah, if there's anyone in the chat and you're predicting that Mumin would win this game or the tournament rather, or Lukeman will be able to catch up and steal the tournament win from Mumin, you could leave your opinions in the chat. Or if you have any questions, be sure to ask us and we'll be ready to answer. I believe we
It looks
saw
like
Young.
Young, indeed, it looks like Young is the move he decided to opt for.
Okay, with a rack of Nepioni for Mumin, I believe his choices are not much. He could play high ho just underneath EX, hooking his O to EX for about 13 points. His highest scoring option might also be to just play maybe PI just beside BAYT with the I hooking the B. What do you think he should do here, guys?
I mean,
Okay.
with two tiles left in the bag, it would be looking to play just two to leave at least one in the bag, and we see him go for OI.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting play because the setting up is P, I believe, for POI. And looking at the unseen pool, he knows Lukeman doesn't have the tiles to hook that.
Such a brilliant play. Like you said, setting up the OI, it could play PAV now. PAV would score 29, leaving it with NINE, although I'm not sure where that would finish. Um, but yes, PAV 29, 512 would be his score after that. And yes, this game is very much over right now.
Yeah, the options for Lukman now would maybe be to play late through the ID here. Aside that, I'm not seeing any scoring options per se for him on this board. It's been such an exciting game so far, don't you think?
I do. You can say that again. Wow, Poof to start was super brilliant, It just unless you have something to play underneath or over, a bingo would not play as POOF, is not valid, but SPOOF spoof is very much valid. And then we saw fainted come down and exchange, then greaters and poofs, the first phony challenged off by Mumin. Then we saw ERO and then regrets. And then just when Lukman thought things couldn't get, any worse, Blintz came down for 63 and then he had to exchange He had three U's, and that was very, very sad. I had the opportunity to play SEX for 54, but he played a sexy, coming Puffy, and of course, Mumin challenged it up. So, yes, such an interesting game if you ask me, and Mumin has won another one, yet another game.
Very interesting indeed. And Excel, I think we might be seeing the extension that you wanted to see so bad, because if Mumin decides to play Ninja right now, because I don't think it can finish on this board with NINE, but it could play Ninja, extending the JA, and that would be a top choice right now.
Exactly, something I would really love to see. Ninja here would just be for style points, and even though that would give Lukman the space to finish, but I think it would be nice to see that. What an exciting game this has been, and also with the score difference, I think the cumulative that Mumin would have after this match would matter a whole lot. So kudos to Mumin, and let's see what happens in the last four games for today.
Okay.
Yes, kudos
Interestingly,
to
you didn't.
Mumin. Kudos to Mumin.